Hello, everyone. It's Sam McDonough, IFBB Bikini Pro, and I am back today talking about the Arnold preview. We just had someone drop out of the Arnold today. That's the first person who's dropped out so far. And it was Miss Jordan Lee right here. So yeah, I'm surprised more people haven't dropped out. Usually there's like 2 or 3, it feels like, but everyone's hanging in. So sorry to Jordan. It will be sad not to see her on the stage, but we have a lot of people to talk about. Thank you for everyone who's reached out asking if I'm going to be making videos still. The answer is, I'm going to try. I haven't been because, as a lot of you know, if you watched before, I'm in school. So I just haven't really had as much time. And then it was like a dead season between like late December. There was like a couple shows. And now, like, the first pro show is happening in February or in like a week. Oh, wait, sorry, in like a few days. So, yeah. So that's where I've been. Also, I've mentioned it on here before, and anyone who's new to this channel might be like, shut up, it's not about politics, blah, blah, blah. But you know what it is? I do, for me, it is. I have trouble rooting for people and saying nice things about people who I know, like, actively still support Trump and, ever did. But, like, I don't know if you've looked around, if you've been paying attention to U.S. news or you live here, but, like, things are bleak. So anyone it was bad enough that they voted for him, but anyone who still, like, holds Republican views close to their heart, I'm just like, girl, it is hard for me to support you. Like, I believe everyone deserves healthcare. Even if you voted for Trump, I believe that, like, everyone deserves dignity, even if you voted for Trump. And I just wish that a lot of these people would hope for the same thing and recognize the immense amount of privilege they have. And even if you, like, did have a hard upbringing, but you talk about, like, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, it's like, okay, newsflash, there's also a lot of privilege that you probably had along the way. I don't know everyone's individual experience, but, like, that is, that's just why it's hard for me to make videos sometimes, because a lot of these people that I talk about are, like, raging repubs. So, but I'm here today, and I still love bodybuilding, so let's talk about it. Okay. So, we have some pretty big updates. So, first, let's talk about who's on the list. Raina, she's placed the top 15 in the Olympia the past 2 years. Amy, she placed 6th place her first 3 years and 4th place the last 2 years. Ashley Caldwasser won the Olympia 3 times between 2023 to 2015. And then has been consistently top 3 between 2021 and 2024. And then this past year, 2025, she got 5th place. Just came in like a little bit softer than usual. And then we have Ashlyn Little. She's got 2nd place at the Olympia last year. We have Jordan Lee, who is not going to be in the Olympia, but is placed, top 15 to top 9, being her highest placing, I believe. In the past, however many years, her whole career. And then Laura Lee, she got 2nd place at her first ever Olympia, got 2nd place a couple times, I believe, and then won the Olympia in 2024, and then got 6th place last year at the Olympia, which was, very arguable for a lot of people. It was proof to a lot of people that politics exists because it didn't look like she belonged in the top 10, potentially even the top 15. But she had a lot of life stuff going on, and respect that she is, like, coming back. Like, you'll see what I'm about to show you, and you've probably seen it before, but she looks freaking amazing and has totally, like, regained the physique she once had. Juliana, she won the Arnold Amateur last year, so she automatically qualifies for the Arnold this year. She looks incredible. She got 3rd place at her first ever pro show, and her first ever show was, like, a few weeks before the Olympia. I mean, not the Olympia, the Arnold last year at the LA Fit Expo. First show ever, won the overall, and then she came to the Arnold Amateur, won the overall, did her pro debut, got 3rd place, and just did well. She did a few shows, did well at each of them. Phoebe Hagen, she hasn't competed in, like, since 2023, and I'm really excited to see her on stage. She looks incredible, so we'll look at her. She is placed as high as 7th place, which was the 2022 Olympia. Yeah, she looks amazing, like, amazing. Then we have Zenyi. Did she place? I think she got more like 16th place last year. Okay, let's see. Because I have her pulled up somewhere. Okay, Juliana, Phoebe. Okay, Zenyi. Did she get... Okay, the Olympia. Okay, but she was, like, really close to being in the top 15. The reason I say 16 is because I think she was, like, in that call out where like the first set of people in 16th place would be. So everyone after 15th place is just 16th. We have Sharon Ramos, who made it to her first Olympia last year, just went pro a couple years ago. What's that? Spam, I guess. Okay. And then we have Tiana Weymouth. So she qualified for the Olympia for the first time last year and then got accepted to the Arnold, which is like freaking amazing. Marie, who, I love Marie. We've been talking about her forever. She also was like really close to getting in that top 15, but didn't quite make it. I'm obsessed with Marie's physique. So that is a little preview of who we are looking at. Now, let's pull up the Instagrams of some people who have made updates recently. Okay, Marie's not one of them. I was hopeful, so I pulled her up. But she's not one of them. Okay, and then Raina, this is the... Okay, and then I'll go into, like... It's been a while, you guys. Okay, I'll go into, like, what I think my placings are. And looking at this really quick, okay, let me think about who will compare well. Okay, so Jordan is out. She's tall. That's why I bring her up. Juliana... in the middle, Laura Lee also in this middle, Phoebe. This middle row is very tall. These three people are really tall. Ashlyn is shorter. Ashlyn and Amy, I think, are close in height. Raina is probably in between those two and then these three. So yeah, I was just trying to see if we have a theme of like tall people because it's who you're compared against. So if it's a line of all tall people and you're the one short person, you might not compare well and vice versa. So something to be aware of. Okay, let's look at these people. So Raina, here she is, 11 days out from the Arnold. And just look at her glutes. They are so... I just sound like a hack. I'm like, look at her. I'm like talking about a bikini first. I'm like, look at her glutes. What I'm trying to say is imagine having that much tissue on your frame when you're a week out from a show, when you're like at your leanest. Like, they just are humongous and they pop so much, and I'm so jealous and happy for her, of course. And notice, okay, she's not like in her pose or anything, but this little peek over the shoulder is part of her routine. It's not judged, but I will mention it just so you can see what I'm saying. Oh, there she is walking towards us. Imagine. Okay, the pop she has in her shoulder, and the pop she has in her glute, the fullness matches on her whole frame. She's not more lean up top than she is on the bottom. And we'll pull up her previous stage pictures and stuff. I'm just going to point out what I'm seeing in these updates. The updates don't mean that much because none of them are next to each other. So a lot of people look great just when they're on their own. And it's when they're next to people that they get exposed for, whatever they're lacking. But that glute fullness will really help her because the only other people that have that level of glute fullness in the IFBB, off the top of my head, like Ariana Brothers, who is pregnant. She's pregnant, you guys. Congrats to Ariana. When I found that out, I was like, oh, is she on the list for the Arnold? Because, not that would suck or something, but, that would change things. It would be another tall person that has dropped out, but that's not even the case. So congratulations to Ariana. She's one of those people that has like super full bubbly glutes all the time. Her, Raina, and Amy Delgado are the people that stand out to me as having that like very unique level of fullness in their glutes. A lot of other people, they have to be like in their pose to see it. And they're people who've had it for like most of their successful pro career. And then you have people like Ashlyn, who's always had a very balanced physique. Okay, where's Ashlyn? Let's see. Ashlyn has always had a very balanced physique, and she's really brought up her glutes to the point that, like, they do look freakish when she's just standing on her own, like Raina's do. But it wasn't always like that when she was doing, like, really well, getting first places and stuff. So, yeah, that's something that stands out to me. Like, just the fullness she has without any graininess is huge and a big, big, big advantage in bikini. So, okay, that's a little Rain update. And now we have an Ashley K update. And thank you to Beyond the Stage TV for posting these all the time. Suki, who runs it, is just so on top of it. And I'm blocked from Pro Bikini News Network, so I can't see what he's posting, but I'm sure he's up to some good work. I got blocked like a while back when I was like making videos often, and you know what? I've never reached out and asked or anything. But yeah, so I rely on Beyond the Stage TV, and Suki, thank you for not blocking me. So here's Ashley K. Wow. What do I even have to say about Ashley K? I mean, this shape is just phenomenal. Okay, so when I'm looking at Ashley, Okay, I haven't done a review in a while, or a preview in a while. So I'm like trying to remember how it even goes. But I think this is how it goes. Like me just jumping all around and eventually making a point here and there. So when I look at Ashley, I close my eyes and I open and I try to see what stands out. Okay, she's wearing a sports bra. So that stands out. It's not a regular bikini. And she also is very opened up to the front. So I wonder if this is how she'll pose on stage. Like, will she be this opened up? And imagine being this opened up and still having this amount of glute projection. Amazing. So I'm wondering if this is a little too front on. In my opinion, it is. Like, it's not really. I'm wondering. To me, I think this is too front on. But it's your shape and like the silhouette that matters. So this front pose is still passable for Ashley K. Do I think it could be better if she angled her hips away a little bit more? Like, still saw, like, the belly button more at a 45 degree, not like a complete side profile. But I think her proportions would just be a little more exaggerated if she did that. Because, yeah, it's hard to have, like, as exaggerated a proportion when you're this front on in your waist. Because the waist just looks wider. Even though her waist is super flat and super freaking tiny, it just, like, throws off the shape a little bit. Or not even throws off, but it could be a little improved. In the back pose, I see she is pinching her shoulder blades a little bit, but that does keep her shoulders the same width as her hips. So that's probably, like, so it's not really something that I'm bothered by or think is the wrong move. The thing that I am missing from Ashley a little bit is upper outer glute. It looks like it kind of just goes into, it drops off a little bit here, but Laura Lee is one of the favorites for this show. She's won the Arnold 3 times, was gonna do the Arnold last year but pulled out, and Laura Lee is lower glute dominant. So I don't know, and if she's like the favorite to win, which for a lot of people she is, let's see where her profile is. She's always been a little lacking in the upper outer glute. She's a very like lower glute dominant, and you can see it when she moves here. You can see it when she's in the pose. It's just not as extreme as like Ashlyn, who we were just looking at somewhere. Where were we looking at her? That's the question. Right here. So yeah, lots of upper outer glute. I mean, it dips like a tiny bit right there, but it's still more than what I'm seeing on Ashley or Laura Lee. And I think this angle in the waist, of course it's super dark in here, but you can see her belly button, you can see some skin to the side of her belly button. She's not totally profile, but more profile, and that makes the shape super crazy. That's the angle I would like to see on Ashley K. Now, like, what the fuck do I know? Because Ashley K has won the Olympia 3 times, and she's won over 60 pro shows? But like, that's my opinion. Yeah, so I would like some more upper outer glute in the front and the back. And she's really flat right now, because when you're this close to a show, you're not supposed to be like totally filled out. So that's why one of the reasons why progress photos are not like that helpful. Oh my God, it's bobby pin. Is it mine? I don't know. I don't wear bobby pins. I bought them before, but maybe this is my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's. You know what? I'm going to talk to him about this. I'm going to raise hell about that in just a little bit. And then anything else that stands out? No, she looks great. So that's the only thing I want. Not really much more to say. Let's see. Is she posing? Oh, she's posing. Okay, this is already less opened up to me. Okay. God, her waist is gorgina. Okay. Ashley's weak point, it's usually confidence in posing. The upper outer glutes look fuller when she's moving. Okay. So what do I have to say about her posing? I think this is all great. Sometimes she kind of like rolls her shoulder forward and looks a little hunched over when she does that peek over the shoulder. That's my only gripe here. So yeah, everything else I think is good. All she needs on stage is like confidence. What do I think Raina needs on stage? Oh, that's what I should talk about. What these people need. Glam. Makeup needs to be like glam, because usually her skin looks a little bit too light. There's not much dimension like to her bronzer and stuff like that. So I would say just like glam, and she has it all. Like that's it. Like her front pose is kind of, she's still working on finding the right one, but if she can nail her front pose consistently and have the glam factor, then like it's lights out for most people at most pro shows. And I think that's something, yeah, I was going to say it stands in the way at like regular pro shows and like occasionally, but she usually does really well. So when we go through their photos and stuff, their like stage photos, then I'll let you know I'll return to my thoughts on that. Ashlyn, I am fucking thrilled to see her standing up straight in this front pose. Let's just go to that now, because how many times have I said she needs to just stand up taller and then she would look like way more way more comfortable. Okay, let's see. Ashlyn, where are you? Did I not look her up? It's looking like I did not look her ass up. Okay, Ashlyn. Okay, brown. Little. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I actually shouldn't do it here. I should go here and then competitor. Okay. It should still pull up. Let's see. Oh, can't be reached. Oh, never mind. Ash. Let's see. Okay, here she is. So when she's in her front pose, and she got second at the Olympia last year with doing this in her front pose, she has a habit of being like hunched forward, and it just looks uncomfortable. So there's that. And let's compare it to this. Where am I? Okay, here she is. So usually she's like leaned forward a little bit, and you can see she's even like rounding that elbow a little bit, which just make her fall even more forward. So standing up straighter like this with this shoulder in line with the glute is gorgeous. The shoulder here is like not as in line with the glute. It falls like right there. So I'm just like thrilled, and I hope it's like this on stage. Like, this is excellent. This is perfect. Back pose, I don't have anything to say. She could straighten her arms a little bit and not have those elbows like poking so far out, and then I think we'd see better pop and like roundness in her rear delts. But this seems to work for her, so is it the right thing to do? I don't know. It might just be a personal preference thing, but I do think her shoulders will look fuller if she straightened her arms a little bit. And something that she typically lacks, which you can't see here because of her hair, is she doesn't have that taper into her waist. She has a tiny waist, but from the back, she doesn't usually have a taper into her waist. And I think it's because her elbows are so high up. If her arms were straighter, then her elbows would have to be lower. And then she'd be able to flex her lats, or at least just spread her lats so you see them taper into the waist. But Ashlyn's hair on stage, usually it's like wavy and then just cut straight across. So sometimes the strands do cover where her waist would taper in anyway, but I think that that's something she should definitely show off. Could she win the show? Many of these people could win the show. I guess that's something else I should have been talking about, but like many of the people could win the show, and we'll talk about that further. So here's Laura Lee. She's like regained all the size that she had lost at last year's Olympia and then some. She looks fuller here than she did at the 2024 Olympia, which I guess I will just pull up. Okay, so here is Laura Lee at the 2025 Olympia. Let's look at that first. So last year, she had a lot of personal stuff going on and just like did not bring the Laura Lee we're used to seeing. Fullness in like the shoulders and stuff, but it just looked a little bit soft. Like she wasn't tight enough, didn't get lean enough, a little body fat in her stomach, which is crazy to say because look how tiny her stomach is. Her lower body just like all around needed to tighten up a little. And compared to this, she's like totally tightened up. Okay. And then let's look at her back pose from last year. Okay, so here's her back pose. You can just see it's a 9-day difference from the video we just watched. And then to compare 2 years ago when she won, here she is in the front pose. This was like some of the best Laura Lee we've seen. Even though she was like on the flatter end for her, she still looked like perfectly balanced, and her posing was like tight. She looked confident. It was just like she was it that day and she knew. So yeah, this is like a winning look for her. She looks like she has a more density and fullness to her physique now than she does here. Given she might have like worked glutes right before she took the video we just watched, I don't know. But here are her glutes then. And then let's look at her glutes here. Okay. Like just way denser than they were here. Like this is a crazy look. So I'm very excited to see Laura Lee. There they are. Amazing. Okay. And then we have Tiana. So congrats, Tiana. I pulled her up because she has a little update. So this was 3 weeks out from the Arnold. Now we're like a week and a half away. So, I mean, her glutes, the depth looks like insane. I'm just so happy to see this. Her hamstrings are looking like a little bit tight here. So like we talked about with Ashley earlier, everyone is a little bit tighter right now because you're not supposed to be filled out yet. The show's not happening yet. So we'll see if her leg, because the thing Tiana has dealt with is that her glutes are growing. Like they look really good. They're looking really full. But in comparison to her legs just look a little bit tighter, like a little bit more shrink wrapped, and her glutes are looking like full and round and smooth. So for her, it's just building enough muscle that when she leans out, she's the same amount of lean everywhere, and you're not seeing those discrepancies in conditioning. But this is like an incredible look. I really like this front pose. I have no changes to the front pose. I think it's awesome. I wonder if she could like put her foot out a little further and just like get a little more width to this pose, not in her waist obviously, but like in her upper body, lower body. But I don't think it's probably not even worth messing with. Like I'm wondering if she could put her foot out a little bit further, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it would be a better look. That's just my own curiosity. So yeah, the back pose I think it's great. Leave the back pose the way it is. And then we have Juliana. So she looks incredible. So look how like full and dense she is. This is really good. The glutes could come up a little bit, but like that's just me nitpicking. I'm curious to see how she'll look against the other top pros on this stage. I think she's posted her back pose too. Maybe not. Oh yeah, here's her back pose. And Seema's on the phone out there. Yeah, her glutes are looking like very dense and very full. And I will show you what her glutes looked like last year when she competed at the Arnold Amateur. So where is she? Here she is. Okay, so last year she competed at... I'll show you this show was like a week after the Arnold Amateur. She changed her last name, so that's why it's not in here. So here is what she was looking like then. Let's show you her front pose first. Okay. It's not working for me, is it? It's taking a while, isn't it? Okay, here she was. So just looked a little bit like really great balance, but just looks a little bit on the stringy side. Just because she has she's tall, she has long limbs. So like the balance is there, but she doesn't look like as muscled compared to what we just saw where she's like very dense and very full and looks like night and day from this competitor. She looks like she will really fit in with the other people she's competed with on stage because like two of those people won the Olympia before. So it would be great to be compared against them. And then let's look at the back pose. Like always has had like great glutes, like a very striking back pose here, but just way more fullness and muscle now. She looks like a much more mature competitor. Okay. And then let's talk about two other people I've given an update. Okay, Phoebe has given updates. Okay, yeah, here's one. So this was from 2 weeks ago. So I think she's posted new ones recently, but yeah, just really full, maintain like a super tiny waist. She just looks like she has a ton of muscle, but this doesn't look like a ton of muscle. She just looks incredibly streamlined and wow. Like, I mean, just perfect balance. I don't really have anything further to say. Like this balance and fullness, this was filled out versus not filled out, I'm pretty sure. 3 weeks difference, same weight. So that's my guess. But really, really full. And this like an example of like stringer muscle when she's really flat and then versus filled out. She just has great ratios. The dimensions are great. She looks really full. She doesn't look extra lean in anywhere versus the other place. Like it's just really good. Okay, let's see if she puts her back pose in here. Because she's posted her back pose recently. Maybe it's me on the stage, but do I bore you guys while I search through? I don't know about that. Okay, here's a back pose, but this was like a month ago. But like, look at these glutes. Are you kidding me? She looks amazing. Okay, and then we have Ashley K. Oh, we already talked about Ashley. Okay, so that's that on that. Okay, now what do we do? Okay, so some other people are competing. Amy Delgado, we haven't seen her compete in a little bit. I mean, November, which was pretty recent. She just got better and better as she competed after the Olympia last year. Like, really full, great balance, great presentation. She also lacks a little bit of confidence on stage, but it's like, I don't know that it's the amount that would make her not win, you know? I think if Laura Lee is on, then no one beats her. That's just like my take on Laura Lee. Okay, let's see if there's anyone else we haven't talked about. Okay, Zinyi, some of the craziest glutes you've ever seen. Another person who has crazy glutes. Front pose could be improved. You can watch my other videos if you want, like, more in depth, but like, switch the shoes. The platform is a little bit too big. I would put the foot out more, not be as, twist the hip around more, straighten the arm, like she always has a bend in this elbow. Yeah, I mean, you can see my other videos where I talk about her. They're all labeled like exactly the name of the show, so they're not difficult to find. Just, okay, yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy back pose. I'd like to see her calves come up a little bit. And not angling out the toes so much because the quads are really like flaring out and almost competing with the fullness of the glutes. So she's pointing those straight ahead. I think that's it. And it's also showing like some lines in her hamstrings. But yeah, like I reviewed Iron Games, Olympia, Hurricane. You can see what I think there. Okay, Sharon. Wow. Sharon is an incredible competitor. So, okay, let's look at a picture where she, okay, perfect. So, really full. I think the only thing that Sharon needs is more projection to her glutes. She has a longer insertions, so that makes it so that you have to build more muscle for them to get the same projection that like an Ashley K or like a Laura Lee needs to get projection. But really beautiful, like full muscle. Reminds me of Maureen Blanquisco's muscle. Okay, and then the back pose. Yeah, really, really great. I think a little more coverage in this suit would also shape her glutes better because everything just looks kind of like rectangular straight down. So I think pulling suits down in the back and up in the front so it's more of a heart shape and a little more fabric here so we get more of that heart shape to the glutes and like a roundness instead of this almost T-back. It's not like a harsh T-back, but it is more of a T-back to where we're losing all the shape in the glutes and we're almost seeing like where the glute connects to the low back. Okay, we already talked about Tiana, and then we have Marie. Marie's another person who has like very knockout glutes, arguably a little bit too big and like throwing off her balance, but this shape in the front pose, amazing. The fullness, I think the suit color could have been better. Like this doesn't really pop for me. She's worn other colors that I think pop better, which I will show you. Yeah, she looks like the tan was a little bit messed up on her glutes. Yeah. And her glutes don't look as poppy here as I've seen them before, I don't think. Let me see. Okay, yeah, like this suit color I think is better. The lighting isn't, but I think the suit color is better. Like this stands out on her. Looks very streamlined, very polished. In the back pose, let's see what her glutes look like. Yeah, this is better, but I think that she and her coach might have even been working on like not filling out the glutes as much, so we're almost overpowering her physique. And maybe that's why she ended up how she did. I feel like there were other reasons, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think like I would like to see her bring this look and show up because a lot of people on this stage have some type of freak factor. Like, let's look at, okay, Instagram, one sec. Okay, so who has freak factor on here? Raina has freak factor with like how full she's able to stay and just her overall her back pose. Amy, really crazy, full muscle all the time, like does not really ever look grainy. Laura Lee has a freak factor in like the amount of confidence she brings to stage. So those are like the main people I'm thinking when I look at this. Okay. And then back to, so yeah, that's that. And then Ashlyn, I love that she's standing up taller. Her glutes are like 3 sizes bigger than they used to be. So it's going to be tough. So, okay, if I had to predict, and we'll never know, because like we haven't seen Phoebe on stage for a couple years. And Laura Lee, I don't remember ever seeing a physique like this on her. So I'm excited. Okay, if I had to guess, if everyone's coming in on, I'm going to say Laura Lee. And then Laura Lee and Amy were like battling a couple years ago at the Arnold. It would be hard. Okay, so Ashlyn has beaten Amy by like 2 spots at the Olympia. But I thought Amy could have looked a little bit better at the Olympia. So I'll say if she comes in one of those looks she had after the Olympia, Amy. And I think a lot of people just were not on last year at the Olympia. So like Even Maureen, who won, wasn't. Jazzy wasn't as on. Amy wasn't as on. Ashley K wasn't as on. And that's your top 5. So, yeah. I mean, no hate to Ashlyn, but I don't know. Because she could even win the show. Like, there are people who could win the show. I think that Ashlyn could win this show. Raina, if she pulled it together, could, but I don't know that she will. And I don't know that the judges would get. I don't know. So, okay. People could win the show. Ashley K. I would love to see her win the show. I would love if Ashley won. Amy Delgado, Ashlyn. So that's 3 people, and we're only looking at the top 4 so far, or the 4 people of all of them so far. Laura Lee, Phoebe. Okay, that's 5 people. I think those 5 could win the show. Okay, so I'll say Laura Lee, Amy. I might say Laura Lee, Phoebe. Because Phoebe's more confident. I just haven't seen Phoebe on stage in a while. It feels weird to put her above Amy, but like, I think it could happen. And in 2022, when she got 7th, Amy got 6th. So it's not like they were that far apart. Okay, so I'll say Laura Lee, Phoebe, Amy, and then, oh, this is hard. Ashley K. Ashley K could even get 2nd. I don't know. Okay. Well, then where does that leave Ashlyn? It feels weird putting Ashley in 5th, but it might be because I'm predicting like how I think it could go. And then I'll say how I would want it to go. Okay. So that's my top 5. Okay. So Laura Lee, Phoebe, Amy, Ashlyn, Ashley K. And then Raina's, well, I'll say Raina in 6th. Okay. And then, okay, that's the top row. And the second row, Laura Lee. Okay, Juliana. I would love to see Juliana get like 7th. Or Tiana. I just don't know. Juliana, her conditioning is just more consistent over her physique. So I'll say Juliana. Oh, Marie Eve, though. Okay, Raina, Marie, Eve, then Juliana. Sharon. I could see Sharon. Okay, and then Tiana, Zinni. Okay, is that everyone? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and there's 8, 12. Okay, yeah, and only 11 are doing it. Okay, so that's how I think it'll go. If it were like how I wanted it to go, ooh, that's tough. Okay. I'd be okay with it going this way. So I don't even know if it's like how I would want it to go. Okay, if it were how I wanted it to go, it'd probably be like Ashley or Laura Lee winning. I'll say, because Ashley is just like very balanced. And like, she has a freak physique, but it is like, you know, not, I mean, it is unattainable. It is unattainable for like most people, but it's like, it's very balanced. And like the upper outer glue is very, she doesn't have as much upper outer glue. And I think the amount of upper outer glue they asked for is fucking absurd. Like, it's seriously absurd. So, and not that like Ashley not having as much of that makes her a lesser competitor or something, but like, if it's a stand, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not trying to like make it easier for myself. Like, that's how it's coming off. But I don't know. I would love to see Ashley win. Okay. And then Laura Lee, even though I think she's missing some of the upper outer glute, but her confidence is just so good. Probably then Phoebe, then Raina. And I think these people are also within the standard. All these people are within the standard. Okay, so that's 4 people. Then Amy, because I don't think she's as polished in her posing. I really like Juliana's physique. and I think it's really balanced. I think her physique is balanced, but they will say more glutes because it's balanced. But is it bikini balanced? Yeah, to an extent, but minus a little bit of the glute they would want. Ashlyn, I guess then I'll put Ashlyn, but her insertions are just shorter up top than they're on the bottom, so that reads as an imbalance, but that's not something she can, like, change, nor does she even need to. She got second at the Olympia with it. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then I would have to put Zinyi at the bottom because of the front pose. Like, it's just not what it needs to be. Okay, so then I'll say, I haven't even said Marie Eve. Okay, Amy, then Marie Eve. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then I would say Tiana, and then Sharon, and then who am I missing? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, Ash. Okay, you guys, I'm so sorry you're here for this. Juliana, Phoebe, Ashley, Raina. I know you guys are telling me. Oh, Zinyi. I already said that, but I ain't write it down. Okay. So that is like what I think will happen tentatively. I have there's no way to know. And then if it were my dream, what my dream is. So yeah, that's what I think. Call your representatives. Look up. Okay. Here's what we do. Okay. Call representatives about ICE. And the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files 1 million times, literally over 1 million times, because he's straight up a pedophile. We already knew he was a rapist. We knew that it's like been a thing, and he's also a pedophile, part of the biggest sex ring that's ever happened, biggest sex trafficking ring that's ever fucking happened. So go to 5calls.org and they give you a list. They give you a list of like different causes that you might care about, which like Kash Patel. Yeah, Kash Patel is a conspiracy theorist freak who he's just a freak. And then so you go there and then it gives you like things you can say to them. So call your representatives. That's much more effective than posting about on social media. Like, post about on social media, but this is what will actually affect change. And like going to protests and stuff, and people will try to make it seem like protesting doesn't work, but that's because it does work. They don't want you to call attention to it, because then they are able to keep getting away with it. Like, calling and going to protest does work. So go to this website and call your representatives. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye. What I was trying to say is that if protesting didn't work, they wouldn't be trying so hard to stop it.